It's Jake Biggie Mills here, and today we're gonna be doing something that I haven't really done a lot in the past. I mean, that I haven't done recently. In the past, I used to do videos like this a lot. I don't really do them much anymore, but I thought I'd do it just because it's gonna be a very exciting year for them. As you may or may not know, I'm a huge Syracuse football fan, and this offseason has been a crazy one to say the least, and a hopeful one, and exciting one as a Syracuse fan. And a lot of Syracuse fans I know very excited with everything. Fran Brown coming in as the new head coach, a whole new environment, atmosphere of the program, a lot more hype around the program. I mean, bringing in Kyle McCord from Ohio State. When's the last time you've seen someone like that want to come to Syracuse? Fidel Diggs coming in for Texas A&M. And then we still have great guys coming back from Dino Babers era. Rondé Gadsden coming off an injury, but he's back. And then LaQuinn Allen in the backfield, who had a strong season. I think we'll have another. And then the defensive side of the ball, Justin Barron and Marlo Wax are back. Marlo Wax, incredible linebacker, great player, and they're buying into the system with Frank Brown. Now, a lot of people are still doubting Syracuse. And I don't get why. I really don't know why. I mean, yeah, this is a great roster, and Fran Brown he was rated as the best recruiter. Did a great job down at Georgia, and he did a hell of a job at Syracuse, bringing in all those guys. But people are doubting his ability to be a head coach because he was only a safeties coach at Georgia, and I can get that to an extent. But you have to look at the talent level that this program brought in, and the camaraderie that Fran Brown brought to this program, who's been mediocre for, gosh, forever since the '90s, the early 2000s. Really, I mean, good season here and there, like the 10 win season, 9-3 bowl game win with Eric Dungy a couple years ago. But otherwise, there's been nothing. Like really, 4-8, 6-6, and a bowl game here and there. Uh, don't want to talk about last year's bowl game. That was rough. The Boca Raton Bowl. Don't want to talk about that. But but yeah. So can you turn around this mediocre program, bringing in these guys and bringing a whole different culture and atmosphere to the program? And I think yes. And they don't even have Syracuse in the top 10 in the ACC right now preseason, and not even anywhere near the top. They're out of the top. They're not even top 50 in college football FBS right now, which is, I don't agree with that, but that could just be me being biased towards my team. But I don't know. I think they're going to do just fine, especially with the lighter schedule that we're going to go over real quick and give my record prediction for. So let's get into it here. Let's just get started. So our first game, Syracuse, Ohio, in Syracuse at the newly renovated JMA Wireless Dome. 3:30. Yeah, 3:30 kickoff. Um, I think Syracuse gets this one done in week one. This is a winnable game. We play Ohio usually to open up the season. I'm gonna say we a lot. I'm sorry. I know I don't play for Syracuse. I play D3 football, so I'm not a Syracuse player. But Syracuse usually opens up with in Ohio with Ohio. Uh, not every year, but every other year or so. And they usually they're not bad games. They're definitely very winnable, and I think they get the job done. 1-0 for me right there. And now this one over the summer, I thought, okay, it's gonna be a guaranteed win. This shouldn't be a hard game to win. But now Georgia Tech, man, wow, they they just went out to Ireland to beat number 10 Florida State. Wow, they looked good too. They looked really good. Um, this game's gonna be tough for Syracuse, especially it being a conference game this early in the year. Um, I think they lose this one. After watching them on Georgia Tech on Saturday, I think that it's gonna be a tough one. I really do. And Georgia Tech plays Georgia State. They should win that. So they're gonna be coming off a win there, I think. And yeah, that's gonna be a loss for Syracuse. But it won't be a terrible loss. It'll be a close game. It'll be a loss though. After seeing how Georgia Tech came out, and I think they ride that for a little bit, and we'll see how it goes from there for them. But 1-1 there. And next, we're home against a new ACC opponent, Stanford. Stanford is coming to upstate New York. Yeah, new ACC stuff is crazy. You got Cal, Stanford, and SMU making these long trips. I mean, come on, it's insane. Like, it's wild. So, Stanford's coming to the Dome. Uh, should be a winnable game for Syracuse. Stanford hasn't been, you know, I guess crazy the last. They haven't been very good. They're just a very highly praised program, in my opinion. But they haven't been anything special at all, really, Stanford. But Syracuse, I think, will beat them. That would be a win for them. I'm going to have them at 2-1 there, but it won't be a blowout win. It will be a close game. I think some of these earlier games are going to be close. I feel like as the year goes on, they're going to get better. I feel like they're going to have a little bit of a slower start, like keep it a little bit closer with Ohio, lose to Georgia Tech, and keep it close with Stanford. But as the season goes on, they should, be beating those teams by three scores, like two or three scores, instead of it being like a one-score game or decided by a field goal or something. And next is Holy Cross FCS. That's a win. They lose that. There's an issue. I have them at 3-1 right there. And then they travel to Vegas. First away game in week 5. Yes, isn't that crazy? They have 4 straight home games, which is cool. It's nice. Love the dome, but it's just I've never really seen that for Syracuse at least. So they're at UNLV at Allegiant Stadium. It's a Friday night kickoff. Um, and you know this game's going to be good. But I think Syracuse gets the win again against UNLV. Now UNLV, they haven't been a terrible program per se. They're not bad, but I think Syracuse by that point should have a little bit more figured out. This is a coin flipper. It really is. It's a toss-up game, but I'm going to take Syracuse to win at UNLV at Allegiant Stadium. So that would be 4-1. Yes, 4-1. All right. So next, they're on the road at NC State. This one, NC State's very is ranked 24th coming in. Um, it's gonna be a loss for them. Truly, I think that they will lose this game. Now, going through their schedule, I think their hardest teams, like, and this is just crazy to think about because you have Florida State and Clemson in the ACC, and they play neither of those two teams. And as a Syracuse fan, seeing them on the schedule, it's like, oh, this is gonna be bad, especially Florida State. But I think their two hardest games this year are going to be NC State and Miami. Those are the two hardest games. Virginia Tech's supposed to be pretty decent as well, but Miami and NC State are going to be their two toughest opponents and two hardest games this year. And considering you're in a conference with Clemson and Florida State, those are two. You know, they're obviously going to be very tough opponents, but they're more winnable than the other two. So I think they do lose though at NC State too early on to say that they're going to go out and beat these teams too early on in the season. I know it's midway through at that point, but that's just how I think it's going to be. So I have them at 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-2. All right. Then they're at Pitt. That should be a win. 5-2 right there. Pitt is they're not a good football program. They had that one good year with Pickett's last year, and Pitt's just not going to be anything special for me this year. And it's at Pitt's a Thursday night at Acrisure, and I think they get the win there in front of a probably dead crowd at the Pitt game like usual. But it's a Thursday night too, so yeah. So give them 5-2 there, and then they're back home at the Dome against Virginia Tech. Now this game is going to be a good one. Virginia Tech, I think, is going to be pretty solid this year. Solid ACC opponent for Syracuse, and I think they got this one. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a really close game, kind of like how I said the Stanford game was going to be. So I'm going to give them that one. I give them 6-2 right there, and then they're at Boston College. Boston College, they're going to be kind of decent this year. They're going to be pretty good. Um, it's going to be a tough game, especially a road game. But Syracuse always usually beats Boston College. I'm gonna give them that one, 7-2, and then they travel all the way out to Cal. Now Syracuse, well, in the last 2 years it's been 5 or 6 games, but they have that one game every year. It's a road game, always a road game, where they get blown out by a team they shouldn't get blown out by. And this game that year, the game this year in that category for me is Cal. They lose to Cal by a good amount, I think, this year. That's what I think is going to happen. I think they lose to Cal. And honestly, it could go either way. Boston College can go like that, or Cal. Boston College is usually, I mean, a team we beat. It's a rivalry now, as they're calling it. We usually beat Boston College, so that's why I'm picking Cal for that category. But Syracuse has that one road game every year where they get blown out, and they shouldn't. And I think that is the game where they get blown out, and it's going to be at Cal. Long trip from upstate New York, and I think that's going to be an L for the Orange. So I'm just going to run through this real quick to make sure I have it right so I'm not saying the wrong things. 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 7-2, 7-3. All right, so we're at 7-3 right now. All right, and then they're home against UConn. UConn, not much going on for them. A very weak opponent they're playing them late year. They're playing them late, so I give them that one. They're going to be 8-3 at that point, and then they're home against Miami. My season is done at this point, regular season at least, and I plan on being in attendance at this game in the Dome, November 30th, Saturday. Hopefully a night game. Depending on how Syracuse is, and by my predictions, this should be a night game. Miami and Syracuse. Miami's going to be really good this year. Um, I'm going to have to take Miami. It's going to be a good game, though. I can tell you that. Syracuse is going to be at that point in the year where they kind of really have it all together. They can come off a win against UConn, I think, and they play a close game, but they don't win. It's going to be like a one-score game or decided by a field goal. So that's going to wrap them up regular season. I have them going 8-4. Wins coming against Ohio, Stanford, Holy Cross, UNLV, Pitt, Virginia Tech, Boston College, UConn, and then their losses are Georgia Tech, NC State, Cal, and Miami. Yeah, wait, let me go through that again. I just want to make sure. So 1-0 Ohio, 1-1 Georgia Tech, 2-1 Stanford, 3-1 Holy Cross, 4-1 UNLV, 4-2 NC State, 5-2 against Pitt, 6-2 Virginia Tech, 7-2 Boston College, 7-3 Cal, UConn, 8-3, and then Miami. Okay, yeah. So there it is, guys. Syracuse goes 8-4. Hopefully makes a decent bowl game. Um, this whole 12-team format, I don't know. With an 8-4 record, wouldn't make it into the playoffs. I think though, with this new format, if they do go 8-4 or possibly 9-3, if they have a good year this year, which I think they're going to, they should. Going forward, I think they could possibly, if this schedule, you know, stays the way it is, which is not. They're probably going to play Clemson in the future, Florida State again. But, the 12-team playoff kind of opens up a little more opportunity for them to maybe make a push for it or make a way better bowl game. So I'm hoping they make a decent bowl game in 8-4. That's my predictions. Comment down below what you think. I know a lot of you people probably won't agree with me on this. A lot of you will say 6-6, all that, but I don't know. I just, as a Syracuse fan, knowing how they are and everything like that, I think it's gonna be an 8-4 season. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.